When I started on TikTok, I made all of the mistakes. I also followed all of the gurus and tried all of their advice, but I couldn't get more than 500 views and I even got shadow banned. But then I started over and I grew to 10,000 followers in under 6 weeks. And then I hit 20K followers just 3 weeks later. And the biggest key to my success was I figured out the right advice to listen to so I could ignore all the rest. So in order to help you do the same, I'm going to be breaking down the absolute worst TikTok advice that I'm hearing right now so you know what to ignore and what you should be doing instead. Starting with number 1 on our list, grow a big audience and you'll make money. This has to be some of the most misleading advice that I am seeing on TikTok, and that is why I want to talk about it first before anything else. These creators make it sound like it's a field of dreams scenario where all you have to do is create the videos, build this big audience, and you are magically making money and replacing your income. But there's a little more to it than that, and you have to develop some marketing and sales skills if you want to be able to turn your views into cash. And then these bigger creators can be getting millions of views, but they're still struggling to monetize and make a living from it. I gave a couple of extreme examples of this last week that I think are relevant here too. So if you are a mildly attractive person and you're out there flexing in a bathing suit or twerking or whatever, you're going to get a lot of views and engagement and you're going to build a big following, obviously. But that doesn't mean that they are going to buy from you. It doesn't mean that those views are going to turn into income. And the same thing goes if you are creating these like really entertaining dude perfect type videos on your business channel, like those are going to get a lot of views, but they're not attracting the customers that you want to attract. And sure, you might land some sponsorships and you could get paid from the TikTok Creator Rewards program, but that ain't going to pay the bills, at least not for most people. Because the reality is that TikTok still does not pay as well as long form content like on YouTube. And even with the big creators that are doing it full time on YouTube, you can ask them about their income, and I guarantee you that all of them are going to say that the ad revenue that they're earning from their videos is the smallest portion of the money that they make and isn't what they are relying on. It's not going to pay the bills. So in addition to building the audience and getting the views, you need to start with understanding, how am I going to monetize? What am I going to use in order to make money? Are you just going to go after those big sponsorships in order to make money? Or do you have a product or a service or something like that that you want to sell to your viewers? Or if you don't have a product or service, are you going to promote someone else's product or service using affiliate marketing? You need to have a plan for how you're going to monetize before you get started, because whatever path you choose, it's going to have a big impact on the type of content that you create and how you grow that audience. My recommendation is that you actually focus on building your personal brand around your interests, especially if those interests involve a skill that you can offer to other people or a problem that you have solved for yourself already. Because the most effective way to make money on TikTok at scale is to create videos that help people get a result or change their life in some way, and then selling a product or a service that helps them achieve that result faster. And if you don't have a skill or anything like that you can think of at the moment, that's okay. Start building your personal brand, and the skills that you will develop growing that audience, you will probably be able to use to pay the bills down the road. So the plan is simple. You are going to build your thing, and on that journey, you're going to run into problems and you're going to work to solve them. And then once you do, you're going to be able to sell the solution to the biggest, most valuable problems that you solve for yourself. And this is exactly what I've always done in business. The very first business that I started back in 2013 when I was in law school was actually an online fitness coaching business helping people lose weight. And as a newlywed and a law student, I just didn't have the time to do the blogging and all the social media content that everybody was doing in order to grow their audience and get clients at the time. So instead, I started running Facebook ads to get clients, and I very successfully built my business that way. I solved a problem I had for myself to grow my business. And then very quickly, I found out that a lot of other people had that problem and they wanted to be able to do it too. And so I provided that solution. I started running ads for these other coaches and helped them to scale their businesses. Fast forward 10 years, and that's exactly what my agency does. I've helped a ton of online coaches scale their business to 7 figures using paid traffic. And we've helped even more grow to 10K a month using social media and creating videos. So you build your personal brand, you build this thing that you love, and you're going to develop skills along the way. And if you're not able to make money from doing the thing that you love, you'll be able to sell those skills. And then by doing that, you get to spend time on the things that you're interested in instead of working a typical job. And the cool thing is that those skills don't necessarily have to be related to whatever your personal brand is about. People are going to fall in love with you and your brand, and a lot of times they're going to make buying decisions based on your suggestions because they trust you. A perfect example of this is creators posting links to all of their camera gear, even though they're not tech creators. They're still making money because their viewers are interested in buying the exact camera that they're using. It's all about trust. And let me give you a couple of other examples. You might be a book talker. You might post about science fiction and fantasy, or about romance or mystery or whatever, and you're posting content about the books that you're reading and the recommendations and just the thing that you love to do and that you're interested in, and you're growing your audience. But in growing your account, maybe you become really good at editing, or maybe you learn the ins and outs of the TikTok algorithm and how to grow quickly on TikTok. Now you have legitimate skills that other people are interested in and that you are able to sell in order to pay the bills, all while doing the thing that you love. Another example I just thought of, I went to Texas A&M. I'm really into Aggie sports, and you can see the football helmets there. And there's a company called TexAgs that is the forum where you can, all of the alumni can go and talk about what's going on with the upcoming football season, or follow all the excitement of our recent run to the championship of the Men's College World Series. And they have gotten so big growing this company that they now have a daily 3-hour radio show with like an ESPN level set. And they have developed some skills growing their company that now earn them money outside of the normal forum subscription payment membership kind of thing. So maybe you're a fan of Clemson or Ohio State or Nebraska or whatever. A lot of these companies have their own forums, but they're using the technology and the forum system and are being managed by TexAgs. They also have a production company that makes 30 for 30 style videos, and they do it all across the country. They just focused on building their thing and being the best that they could, and they developed skills along the way and then found opportunities to monetize them. The second piece of bad advice is that you are the niche and you don't need to niche down. This just isn't true. There needs to be a cohesive theme or topic to your content that pulls it all together. And the reason this is important is because you need to be able to attract the same kind of people, and you need to make sure that those people that you're attracting are interested in the videos that you're posting, so that way they watch them the whole way through and they finish the videos and they go to your profile and they binge every single thing that you post. Because if the algorithm doesn't know who to show your videos to, and they show it to people that aren't watching the videos, you aren't going to get views and you aren't going to grow. Now, this doesn't mean that you're locked into talking about one topic for your entire life on TikTok. And there are actually times where you can use posting outside of your niche in order to grow your account if you do it right. I'll explain that in a minute, but first, let me give you an overview so you understand how the TikTok algorithm works and why you don't need a niche is actually bad advice. It's really important that you are consistently posting around a single topic or niching down, at least to an extent, in order to get traction with the algorithm. And the reason for that is because TikTok actually buckets people based on the things that they're interested in. And so every viewer on TikTok might be interested in, and they are interested in, multiple things. And so they might be interested in politics, in sports, in growing on TikTok, and in crochet. And then based on the interest of that viewer, TikTok is actually going to serve them videos that have been categorized in each of those different niches that they have interest in. And the algorithm works this way because it wants to only show people videos that they love and that they're going to watch the whole way through and that are going to keep them on the app as long as possible. And this is important for you to know, because if TikTok cannot figure out what your account is about and what bucket it falls in, then it can't figure out who to show the videos to. And this is probably the biggest mistake people make. They just post about too many topics. They never get categorized in that way, and it confuses the algorithm. And so TikTok just goes around trying to figure it out. It's showing your videos to people that are interested in this bucket or that bucket or this third bucket, and maybe your video about baking a cake really resonates with people in bucket 3. And so they go, oh, okay, cool, that's who we need to show them to. And so your next video, they show to those people or people like that, and it flops because in that next video, you went back to teaching about weight loss and the coaching that you provide, and people interested in baking in bucket 3 aren't interested in that. And now it's confused again. So it's really important that you be consistent with that topic so you can start to get traction and build fans that get to know you, love you, and want to watch everything that you put out. Oh, and some related harmful advice that you should avoid is this teamwork trend, where basically everybody goes onto a video and they type #teamwork in the comments, and you're supposed to follow everyone that puts it in there, and they follow you back, and everyone gets to go to 10,000 followers. This is so harmful for your account, because even if you get to 10,000 followers, none of the people that are following you are actually interested in the topics of your videos unless the video is about the teamwork trend and allows them to get more followers. And so if the people that are following you and are being shown your videos aren't interested, then they're not watching them. And all of the videos that you post after that are going to be stuck in 200 view jail. And that also applies to this new help me trend.
Help me! Help me!
And this road to 10K trend.
Do you want to form an alliance with me?
Look, even if you end up getting 10,000 followers from this, you still are not going to meet the 30-day, 100,000 view requirement that you need to get monetized on TikTok. So instead of taking the easy road that's going to ruin your account, take the faster path, which is actually doing it the hard way and just creating good content and gaining followers that actually like you. Now, let's talk about how to niche down the right way, because a lot of people think that niching down just means like you pick a general topic and then you just get the subtopic of the subtopic of the subtopic, and that's not really what you need to do. The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, what is the thing that you help people with? Like, what is it that you want to be known for? And then whatever that topic is, you want to make your content as broad as possible within that niche. For example, if you help people with like these advanced automated systems that help them sell their courses on autopilot, that's fine, but you don't want all of your content to be about that. You want your content to more broadly be about sales and marketing. And when you create that content, you can talk about course creators and provide examples, but you want it to apply to as many people as possible, so that way you have the potential to reach a broader audience and attract the people that you want to attract. And one of the biggest mistakes that creators make is that they start trying to talk about too advanced of a topic because maybe that's what they sell. And what you should be doing in order to make it more applicable to people is talk about like the beginner level, the like 101 level class, because there's a lot more beginners than there are the advanced people, and that's going to help you grow your audience, and eventually they might get to where they can be buyers. But also the people that are advanced and are your ideal market, they are still going to be interested in the basics. And a lot of them, maybe they're wanting to hire you because they aren't experts. They don't have time to figure all of that out, and so they're looking for someone to come do it for them. And this idea of going as broad as you can in your niche doesn't just apply to educators and business owners, it also applies to creators that are making entertaining content. For example, if you are a book talk creator, then you shouldn't just be creating videos around your favorite book or your favorite series. You should be talking about all kinds of books that are inside of that particular genre that you're posting about. You should be creating videos about what you're reading now, doing reviews, making lists of your all-time favorite books in that genre, and re-ranking them when you have new books that make the list. And the way that you start posting outside of your niche and kind of expanding beyond it is by understanding your viewer and what they are interested in. Let's take the book talk example again. If you're a creator and you're posting about all of the books in the fantasy genre, then a really good way to start expanding your niche and reaching new people would be to talk about maybe science fiction books or historical fiction books, because there's a high likelihood that your viewers are going to be interested in that as well, because they're kind of related topics. Or you could go out and you could talk about fantasy movies or TV shows, especially if those ones are based on the books, because let's face it, like the people that are interested in those books are probably watching those TV shows and those movies as well. But it doesn't have to stop there. You can actually post about a lot of things that aren't related to your niche once you're established, as long as you have like a deep understanding of your viewer and the stuff that they're going to be interested in and that they are going to engage with. I actually saw a great example of this recently from one of our viewers here on the channel, and she makes videos all about like romance fantasy type novels. And she did one recently that was actually about this new TV show on Disney called Descendants. And apparently it is based off like an older show. And unfortunately, like I was not a little girl watching the Disney Channel when that show came out. I'm not really the target demographic for that, but she was. Like, she grew up watching those shows, and so she posted about watching the new one and comparing it to the old ones and like sharing her kind of like, you know, a split opinion because she didn't think she was going to like it at first. And this video got tons of views and tons of engagement because all the people that are interested in these novels that she always posts about are also the same age and the same demographic that was watching those shows back then, and they had an opinion about this new show. And so by knowing her audience and understanding they were like her, she was able to expand into other interests that they could relate to and that they would be interested in, and her brand is going to grow because of it. Now, the third piece of bad advice is something that I know a lot of you are doing it, and it might shock you when you hear it, and that's that you should post 3 to 5 times per day. This might be some of the most harmful advice that's on TikTok right now because there actually is a little bit of truth to it. Posting more frequently is actually a good growth strategy because it allows you to practice and to get better at your craft. And in theory, if you're posting more, you should get more views. But the problem is that Quality is more important than quantity on TikTok these days. And I don't mean quality of like production value. I mean the quality of the idea and the quality of the way that you show up on the camera in that video. Rather than posting 3 to 5 times per day, it would be better if you just posted once per day and you showed up every day and you were consistent and you spent more time on things like studying the platform, understanding the algorithm, more time studying your niche and your competitors and what they're posting and seeing what is working. What are the topics that get the big views? What are the formats of the hooks that are successful in your niche? Spend more time coming up with these ideas, planning your content, and creating better videos. And some counterintuitive advice is that you should spend time consuming content, not just creating. And I know a lot of people are going to say, create, don't consume. And there's a lot of truth to that too. If all you're doing is watching videos and figuring out like, how do I do this to try and make it perfect instead of posting your own stuff, then you're gonna fail. You need to just get out there and create and post a video every single day. But once you've posted that video, go out there and study, get better at the craft, and consume related topics so that way you can get new ideas and you can have inspiration. One of the things that's really helped me recently, and it was a total accident, was I just started going on these long walks because I need to get in shape. And so I live out here in the Texas Hill Country and my property is up on a big hill. And so I walk about 2 miles and I go up and down and all over, and it is hot as heck. It's summer, y'all. But on those walks, I have my headphones in and I'm listening to audiobooks or YouTube videos. I'm just listening to things that I'm interested in and want to learn more about. And the funny thing about that is that as I've been doing this, I'm just filling my phone up with ideas. Like I will come back from this 2-mile walk with 50 new ideas. And the reason for this is that when you have quiet time and your brain is taking in new information and it's able to make all of these connections, that's when the ideas come. It's similar to how people say that they always have their best ideas in the shower. And that's no coincidence. It's because they're doing something where they're not glued to a device trying to entertain themselves. Their brain is just there with nothing to do and it's making connections, putting thoughts and ideas together. And you can create that for yourself. So instead of trying to post in volume and trying to post 3 to 5 times per day, post less and then get outside, get into other people's content, learn about new things, and allow your brain to come up with better ideas. Because getting views isn't about how many videos you can crank out. It's about how good are those videos. And this leads me to the 4th piece of bad advice, which is that you need to use specific hashtags or posting times in order to get views on TikTok. The reality is that these things don't really matter that much at all. You can go ahead and post at whatever time you want because it's the quality of that content and how much people engage with it that actually matters, not the time you post it at. Myself and my clients have posted successful videos at all hours of the day, including in the middle of the night, and it rarely makes a difference. It's probably a good idea to post in like normal hours that people are awake, but beyond that, don't worry about it. Just post the dang video. Hashtags, on the other hand, are a little bit different. They can actually be helpful when you're first starting your account and you're trying to get categorized. Remember back at the beginning when we were talking about the algorithm and how it has to figure out what your content is about? That way it can show it to the right people that are going to be interested and are going to watch. Yeah, hashtags can help with that. And so when you're first starting your account, go ahead and use hashtags. Just don't overthink them too much. Make sure that you're using hashtags that are related to the topic of the video. And as long as you're being consistent with the topic of all of your videos, then it's going to help the algorithm figure it out faster and you'll start to see the views. But once you're established, those hashtags really don't matter anymore. And that's why you see these big creators that don't even use hashtags. But understanding these posting times and hashtags, that's not even the biggest takeaway that I want you to get from this piece of bad advice. The real reason this advice is dangerous is because it makes you focus on the wrong things. And so really this could apply to any of this like hack type advice where you need to do very specific ritualistic things in order to get results. The way you get views is just by focusing on getting your video shown to the right people and focusing on developing better ideas and focusing on stopping the scroll so people actually watch your videos and focusing on increasing play duration, because the more people watch your video and the more of those people that finish the video, the more the algorithm's going to push it and give you views. So just focus on those things. And to give you some examples of some other related harmful advice, no, you don't need fancy captions and edits in order to keep people watching on your videos. You need good ideas and to be engaging. You also shouldn't listen to this post and ghost trend. Publishing your video and getting off of the app is not going to get you more views. The idea that TikTok is going to give you a whole bunch of views in order to get you back on the app is just silly. All they care about is whether your video gets a bunch of other people to stay on the app. So post and ghost, post and scroll, post and do whatever the heck you want as long as it's a good video. But most importantly, start posting before you're ready. Don't wait until you have the algorithm completely figured out. Just start posting. You are going to learn based on the videos that you put out there and which ones work and which ones don't. And you're going to learn by looking at other creators in your space and seeing what's working for them and then using that as inspiration for your own content. If you're really worried about all those ins and outs about the algorithm and it's keeping you from posting, that's fine. I have another video called Do This to Make the Algorithm Love You. I'll put it in the description and you can watch that next and it'll help you get past that hurdle so you can start posting. The final piece of bad advice I want to warn you about is when people tell you that you need to have a call to action in every video. And if you don't know what a call to action is, it's the idea that you need to ask people to follow you or to buy your stuff at the end of your videos. And let me tell you, no, you don't. And I get this advice. I am a digital marketer. I'm in that space. And one of the things, especially in like email copywriting and stuff like that, is that you have to have a call to action. You need to tell people what the next step that they need to take is because they're more likely to do it. So for example, when we're doing paid advertising and we have an ad, at the end, we're going to say, click the learn more button. We're going to tell them exactly what to do next to increase the chances of them actually doing it. This is actually a really important concept and it gets results. But content is different. If you post a video and people like it, and then they go to your profile and they like what they see, they're going to follow you. You don't have to ask them to do that. They're also probably going to look at the link that you have in your bio and check out all of the products and freebies and things that you have available. And maybe they don't buy from you right away, but my guess is if they continue to watch their videos, now they know they're going to go back and eventually they're going to do it. They're going to buy on their own. And so my rules for selling on TikTok are very simple. You only do it in two places: on stories and in reply videos. And the reason for this is because if you are selling in your normal videos, it just annoys people and it's going to make them swipe off the video. But if you're selling in your stories, it's not a big deal at all because there's no impact on your views based on whether they swipe off or not. And the reality is only your biggest fans and your most likely buyers are going to watch your stories anyway. And reply videos are different because you're responding to somebody's question in the comments where they're saying, hey, can you tell me about your product? Or how do I do X? And if it's the latter, then you're going to create a video and you're going to say, here's how you do it. And if you want more details or want to be walked through it step by step or want me to help you with it, then I have X product which does blah, 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 blah. That's the right time to sell your stuff. But the end of your video is not the right time to ask for a follow or to ask for people to buy from you. Because when you do that and they swipe away, you've just killed the finish rate on your video. And the term play duration, which is one of the biggest metrics in determining how many views you get, is all about the watch time and the percentage of people that finish your video. So you don't want to create an opportunity where people can swipe away. You want to abruptly end your videos when you're done with the topic, because doing so is going to mean that they finish the video and you're going to get more views. And the reality is there's a lot more that goes into the marketing and selling of your product or service than just making a pitch in your video. So you should watch this video next if you want to learn what it actually takes to get sales from TikTok.